All right, what is up, everybody? What is up? Unfortunately, did not have time to make a lovely intro. You may be able to hear my dog chewing on a bone in the background, but I am James, and this is the hosted weekly Wing It to the Wild weekly Wing It. Looks like the wild duo so far. How you doing over there, Nevermore?
Hey, hello.
Hey yo, just starting off the week hard over here. Got me another lovely avatar to cycle through with the weekly wild winged. We needed a lovely buffalo wing chilling over here in the corner.
I was
But
wondering about that.
yes, and I know that you're in tech. I actually had something to ask you that I thought would be good for the stream. An article apparently came out recently talking about how apparently junior developers don't really know how to code. Have you heard about this?
Would not surprise me.
Yeah, something about just AI finding its way into the teaching habitat as and becoming such a utilized tool that once it's not available, apparently a lot of these new devs just don't really know what to do there. Is this
Oh,
something you
yeah.
ran into or have you heard of? Because
Well,
it's
so
basically yeah. Go ahead.
I've not run into that yet because I've got mostly people that have been around for a long time. But it doesn't necessarily surprise me because for probably the last decade, I think it's been, people have been complaining about like what was it called, like Tech Stack, and one of the other places where people couldn't solve their technology problem, and so they put in a question and then other people on the internet would solve it for them, and then they would just copy and paste the same thing. Now granted, in some cases, if you're debugging something, it comes in very handy, but in some other cases, um, like probably before this job, came across, or maybe even one, I think maybe we had a contractor who was doing some weird stuff, didn't seem to have any clue what he was doing. And I kind of got this idea that he really didn't know what he was doing, but he was just like the front man for a couple of people. So like he'd get the thing that he was supposed to do, and then like maybe he was sending it out and paying somebody else to do the work, and then he would present it to us as being the completed thing or whatever.
Oh
Because
boy.
I had one particular thing where I had looked at the code that he had turned in, and I had figured out exactly where the problem was, and I pointed out, you're doing X Y Z, and you actually need to do something slightly different there. Um, Went off, and because I had work I had to do as well, I went off and did my work and stuff, and nobody contacted me that there was still this big huge problem. And so I gotten some other stuff. I ended up going on a walk because it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I still had not had lunch break yet. So I was like, well, okay, I'll go on a walk and eat lunch while I'm going around on a walk or whatever. And I get a call from one of my coworkers trying to figure out why um, this contractor has not finished his thing yet. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I told him exactly where to go and solve the problem like hours ago. Nobody's contacted me about this. And we got into this huge argument about stuff and everything. And I finally got home and, or got back to the computer, sat down. We had him bring it up in like Teams or something and show, share his screen. And I'm like, okay, you need to scroll down a couple of lines. And he would scroll down right past the lines that I needed to point out. I'm like, no, no, you went too far. Scroll up. And he scrolled it all the way down, so he went past this. I'm like, after doing this like two or three times, I finally figured out which specific line number it was, and I said, go to this specific line number. He went in and I said, okay, you see how it says that You need to change it to be this other thing. He says, oh no, that's not the problem. And other stuff went on, and I told him, this is literally the problem. I went in and I fixed the problem. I checked out his branch. I pulled it up because I don't remember if I set up a unit test around it or something else and stuff. And I changed the one specific line to what I had been telling him to do and ran it. It worked. It solved the problem and everything. And like I was the magical hero because I solved the problem. I'm like, no, just refuse to either A, he doesn't know what he's doing, or like I said, B, maybe he's shipping it overseas to have somebody else work on it. Maybe they're
Oof.
currently not available, or
Yeah.
something. And I just like, this is not really giving me good vibes because he seemed to be avoiding the place where I was telling him to go to get the thing fixed, and it seemed like it was a delaying tactic because but the problem and why we were needing to complete it so quickly is that particular code had to go out that particular night.
Ah.
And so it's like, no, we can't
Yeah.
delay this.
Yeah, apparently it's becoming a major issue. A lot of people just not, getting hired to code, not knowing how to code. And they say,
Yeah.
the early boon was because of the introduction of AI, you can write code and ship it out quicker. But the issue comes
Yeah.
with the troubleshooting aspect and introducing new code for updates,
Oh,
which obviously breaks old code. Oh, old code. Oh, that was difficult to say. And if you don't know the code, it's going to be hard to fix. So these are some issues apparently that are occurring. But one thing
yeah.
you brought up that I've noticed is it's since really the dawn of the internet and this like global economy thing is happening online, you can hire people from across the seas and stuff. Usually save yourself a little bit of cash. But I've noticed a gigantic drop in quality for roughly the same price at a
Hmm.
number of fields, and I think this could be an issue. Why?
Yeah.
Like you see it in coding. I see it in art. You have a lot of beginner artists out there charging premium prices, not knowing
Oh,
their skill
wow.
levels. A lot of stuff like that's unfortunately popping its head up. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of why it may be. But we do our thing here. We're all our little creators trying to produce the crap that we produce to entertain. And trust me, I ran into plenty of issues of amateurs charging premium prices for a whole lot of stuff. I'll tell you that much. As a
Wow.
chicken wing, I wasn't born a chicken wing. I was born as an egg, but I got here eventually.
Yeah. Well, and it's not necessarily even overseas. I remember um, for a period of time I worked for. They mostly did like brochure sites, but they did have some other more complex and complicated websites, and which I that was part of the reason why I was brought in was because I knew how to do that sort of stuff. And one of the projects, one of the clients had brought to us, they had somebody sell them this on this big, they knew how to do it. They spent all this money on getting this project done, but they couldn't figure out how to finish the project. And so they ended up bringing it to the company I was working at the time. And I got into the database and looking at some of the code, and I was like, oh gosh, this person is like barely knows what they're doing. It was very obvious why they could not complete the request because part of it was just limited experience. Um, and it's one of those things that the more projects that you work through and the more projects you come across, you end up seeing different ways of solving different issues, and you just get better at doing things. Although usually it's easier if you have somebody that helps you along in certain things.
Yeah, I hear that. And I think that was kind of permeating in the gaming sphere for a while there. Well, probably still is. I remember for a little bit I was kind of self-teaching myself game design. I was using Unreal Engine, and you'd come across like this, lovely open market of various models and assets, and even
Hmm.
pre-built code that you can pick up and use. But a lot of it was, a crapshoot. You'd pick up a little pack, and it was real janky. And you check out the textures, the model, or even the code, and then it was just really sloppily done. You could barely follow a majority of it. Just real shoddy stuff. And when I was
Yeah.
doing this was close to like a decade ago. So, you know, um, it's out there, and AI, as fun as it is, it's really not helping solve the amateur issue that seems to be permeating a lot of different bubbles in the tech sphere.
Oh yeah.
Apparently,
I I'm kind of worried about it because it's I think what it's going to end up doing is it is going to end up widening the gap between I hate saying the haves and the have-nots, but then again, it's a different category of have and have-nots because it's the people that have talent versus the people that don't have talent. Now, doesn't necessarily mean the people that don't have talent won't be able to succeed, but it's going to take them a bit more, or they're going to have to figure out a different way of getting through that. In some cases, it may just be that they're not really great at the original thing, but they end up getting really great at AI training, and they can train the AI to do the thing that they want it to do.
hopefully, we got King Bob chiming in.
Hey,
Programming, just like basically everything, needs to go back to master apprentice style learning, which I agree to. I agree. I think that's a very healthy way of learning, most natural
yeah.
way of learning. But you are correct, sir. Can you remind me what you said? My mind just drifted away.
Um, let's talk about the haves and the have-nots with the AI. Those with
Oh
talent,
yeah.
and those that don't, and
Oh yeah, I remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that we're probably what, like 5 years into the AI boom, 3 or 5 years. Like it
yeah.
feels weird how time passes. It's hard to like get a grasp on it. But when I think about it, yeah, it's probably the marketing to a large degree. But AI has been rapidly growing. I think it's grown like usual lifespan of technology. The amount of advancements it's made is like 10 years worth in less than a decade. And the interesting thing is they keep on talking about how great this one is, how great that one is, but even though that they operate off of separate models, I myself mess around with like 3 to 4 different types of AI. they all have um they all have basically the same issues, and
Hmm.
those issues have permeated in the like strictly like the chat GPTs of the world. They all have issues with redundancy, because they a lot of them scrape the internet for
Yeah.
their information. It's garbage in, garbage out. There's a lot of garbage on the internet. It's going to spew out a lot of garbage. You can actually ask a lot of them the same factual questions, and they'll essentially go to the same popular sites to look for the answers. And if the answer on there is in itself garbage, all the AIs are going to just shoot out
Oh
garbage.
yeah.
Yeah. So, it's they're all they all have similar issues, and I've seen these issues permeate throughout the years. So I don't know if they're going to be able to fully iron out all this stuff. I know it's still kind of young, but like I have never ran into an AI that's been as impressive as as the marketing told me it is. And pretty much all of them have issues of redundancies and issues of following conversations and logic, like the type of issues you don't need in something you want to rely upon.
Oh yeah. And it's something that you know it's still early on. Things will happen. New discoveries will be made, and because part of it is just training it. And one of the problems I think that you're seeing is that most of them are training it by just letting it loose on search websites or similar. And so
Yeah,
if they're all using Google, they're all using Bing, they're all using, these things, then yeah, you're going to come up with the same info.
yeah, basically. I think the one that's been like people say it's super not woke has been X, but that one does also scrape the same websites and stuff. So a lot of the answers are actually very similar, and it will spill out kind of like that woke lingo at you as well. Garbage in, garbage out. That's what it's following right now. So we'll see. They gotta curate the garbage out. I think whoever finds a way to do that may win the AI war. Um, because I test these things as a writer or someone who partakes in writing. Um, you got to know the enemy. People were out there using AI full blown to do everything, and there's aspects of AI I do introduce, but I don't like go full Monty, try to just publish all these stories that other people can at a whim. I actually ran into an AI channel the other day that they produce like an hour and a half long videos of like you're listening to a radio broadcast about the post apocalypse, or you're listening to a radio broadcast about a vampiric outbreak,
Hmm.
and all of them essentially they're all written by AI, the voice is all AI, and you can kind of tell there's no soul underneath. And the issue is essentially this stuff's getting produced, but it all sounds the same. It's almost like
Oh yeah.
another version of woke, but remove the woke and keep all the dull. And
Oh,
that's what we're dealing with
so
here.
a lot of them like to use Tuvok's voice because Tuvok had signed up from Star Trek Voyager.
Ah,
He was one of the people whose voices was used for like the text to voice.
okay, okay.
And so there's a lot of them that will like write up a script and then just feed it into the thing to read it off. And then they
Yeah,
and then like because they didn't figure out how the text to speech thing worked, they've got different bugs in it and stuff, like especially like one I was watching the other day that was talking about stock tickers, and because they just lump all of those letters together, it couldn't pronounce it right.
yeah. Like you do have to in the production side, even if you are using AI, you have to actually put in at least some kind of effort into it, or else it's going to come out sounding like it. I think one of the worst I seen was AI scripts. They can be the worst. Was this video that was trying to like be an explanation for Highlander,
Mhm.
but it was so the AI got everything so messed up that for those who don't know, the Highlander is about a gentleman who is a Scottish Highlander who finds out that he's actually an immortal and has to partake in this like immortal game of life or death, which is pretty funny, a little ironic.
There can be only one.
There can be only one, but the AI, for some reason, the scripts thought that the immortals were the Highlanders, and the only one was also the Highlander. So it referred to everything in the
Oh
video as
gosh.
the Highlander. It was like Connor McLeod is a Highlander from the Scottish Highlands of this year. And then he is slain and becomes an immortal Highlander, where he has to partake in the deadly game where there can be only one who could become the Highlander.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And they cared so little about this video that they published it. Um,
Yeah,
it's
well,
ridiculous.
one of the things that I was looking at was in trying to figure out book publishing and some other stuff and everything. I ended up getting this course, and they basically teach you how to um, come up with the book idea, um, based upon like bestsellers on Amazon, and then you go through and um, like put together an outline, put together, do some research on stuff, but put the research information together, and then you can find somebody who can write the book based upon the research that you did for X amount of money. And so you can pay somebody to write the book based upon whatever topic that you picked up and the research you did. And then later on, they had started messing around with AI stuff, and they hadn't completely perfected it yet. But basically, what they were working on was you could get the AI to go and write out the outline based upon just the subject matter. Like it, you wouldn't want to necessarily do a cooking book or a cookbook as your first thing because that typically has a lot of pictures and stuff. But say like a travel guide or something like that. Even that I guess would have a lot of pictures. Dang it! But something that not like fiction. It would have to be like nonfiction. You could give the AI um, the category, ask it to do some stuff, and it could fill out the outline, do all the research and everything, and some other stuff. And then I think they were even trying to get it to a point where you could just get the AI to write the entire thing for you. You just give it, you know, the title of the book, the kind of topic that you wanted it to cover, and the AI would do the whole thing for you.
Uh-huh.
But it's a way to mass produce junk books that people will
Yeah.
buy on Amazon.
Yeah. I mean, a part of my research to know your enemy is I tried producing a number of stories and literature, and what I found out is, well, it's redundant. It likes repeating itself heavily. This is something that I found out. Well, like this is a key point. You can spot in AI writing, or at least what somebody inserted into an AI writing as a prompt, because it continuously loops back to certain information and it feeds it to you over and over and over again.
Oh,
Take
good.
the radio station I was talking about, where they said it's like a vampiric outbreak radio station. It's all AI written. There was one about werewolves. Um, and it's like people were turning into werewolves, and one of the prompts that whoever made it used was that the out werewolf outbreak had to be biological in nature, like a disease, and not a supernatural thing.
Oh
So
gosh.
Well,
the hey Frederick,
Hey,
Frederick has
Frederick.
joined us.
is my sound okay?
Yeah, you're coming
A
through
little
good.
loud.
A little
Yeah,
loud. Okay.
tad bit loud, I suppose. Loud and clear, that's for sure.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, we were talking about redundancy in AI, and this AI radio station with AI writing. Um, I
Dropped it a
could
little
tell
bit.
that. There you go. I could tell that they were using, or one of their prompts was that these werewolves in their story were biological and disease based in nature and not ethereal or supernatural, because every 5 or 6 minutes the script would loop back and mention that exact factoid over and over again. That's the issue with AI writing, is it if you give it a particular factoid, it'll keep repeating it. Like I
Oh,
was
dude,
trying.
that's like watching Star Wars, and every time they mention the Force, they have to talk about midi chlorians.
Oh gosh.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
basically.
What was that one commercial back in like the 80s or the 90s? And it was like apply directly to forehead, and they would
Oh,
say
I
that three
remember.
times in a row.
Apply directly at forehead.
But that was playing into that new research at the time where it was like if people hear it like three times, then it will get stuck in their head. And it did.
Sure, and if you do more than 3, it sticks even harder too.
Whoa. Monday, Monday, Monday.
Well, if you say a word enough times, it eventually loses its meaning, and the sounds start to get weird, and you start to doubt that it's even a word.
Oh yeah. Is
Yeah.
that personal experience?
Uh, I mean, stuff kids do at some point. You just repeat a word to be annoying or whatever, and after a while, it's like it becomes more of a sound than a meaning. You know what I mean?
Right? It's like, oh, is
Yeah.
this what foreigners feel like when they're listening to English?
Oh, there's great videos out there of like foreigners trying to imitate what English sounds like without saying any actual English words.
Oh gosh.
It's so funny, man.
I,
Because
I think isn't there like a Chinese gal that complains about the English language and all the different rules and stuff?
I mean, they're not wrong. It's absurd. The
Well,
sounds,
some
the
of
way
her
they're
things
written.
were hilarious. Like she goes over, um, I don't remember where she starts, but like Canada has Canadians, so you add Ians to the end of it. Except whenever you get to Chinese, it's not Chineans, it's Chinese,
Yeah, oh yeah.
and it just Italians, Canadians, Germanans, right? No,
Just
Germanians.
Germans.
yeah, yeah. She goes through a whole list of them, and it's the way she did it was very intelligent and hilarious because she just progresses down the road, and it's like a rock falling over, tumbling down the road and just bumping on every single stupid thing.
Sure, and it's funny because when I was learning English, they used to say it's all logical, but you quickly learn that it's not. It's just a
Yeah,
bunch of exceptions that you have to understand. And same thing with French, and I think every language is that way. You got a basic structure, basic logic that'll get you through like 60% of it,
yeah.
most of the cases. But you're gonna stumble on exceptions, a bunch of exceptions, and you got to learn them all.
Yeah.
And part of that also, I think, is just the history of language, and I think part of it is not only that, but also um, one society introduces a new word, and other societies have never discovered it before, don't know what it is, and they learn about this new thing from this other society, and they try to repeat the word, but they don't know how to pronounce it necessarily. And so whenever they go back and talk to their people, they corrupt it, and then but it's their new word for the new thing that they've brought back to their civilization. And then some other new civilization comes along and hears the corrupted form from them, and they take it back to theirs, and gets even more corrupted.
Dude, all the French words that English people say are like a slight spelling mistake, but like it's uniform. Like everyone says the slight spelling mistake version. It's
And
very
that
funny.
becomes the correct version.
Well, yeah, for the English who learn the French word in an English context, that's kind of what sticks.
Isn't there like I need to find one of those videos where someone speaks French does French to English translation literally, or just word
Yeah,
for
the
word
literal
translation.
translations don't make sense because it's all expressions. Like
Was
an example of what I was saying earlier is like the English will say coup de grace, where they're actually trying to say coup de grace. And if you just say coup de grace, it means a hit in the fat. Whereas coup de grace is like the graceful strike, basically the strike that puts down your opponent generally. But
Oh,
it's
that's
like,
funny.
it's just a
Yeah,
slight difference in the word, but I've seen it everywhere. And I had to research it to make sure I wasn't mistaken because it's everywhere. So you're like, maybe I'm the one who's mistaken, right?
yeah, coup de grace.
Actually, coup de grace.
Yeah,
Now to
but
the hit in the fat.
Let's hit the fat.
but yeah, that's the corruption. But it's like dollar originated as I don't know the pronunciation of it, but Thaler, Thaler, I believe. And I can only imagine that going from the one language to another, to another, to another, and just going from that to ending up being dollar.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's in the written form that there's a mistake. A lot of times I see a letter is replaced, and it's just kind of like you could tell it's just a typo.
Yeah. Funny one is I live in the Coachella Valley, but it wasn't supposed to be called the Coachella Valley, or the town anyways wasn't supposed to be called Coachella. It was supposed to be named after one of the local Indian tribes, Coahuila, but they didn't know how to spell that, so they winged it.
Yeah, I mean the name Canada, I believe, means village.
Mm.
So when the settlers arrived, they said, "What is the name for this area here?" You know, pointing to where people lived, and said Canada. It says, it's the village. What do you think? Oh, this is the great country of Canada. So yeah, Quebec actually means where the river kind of shrinks, like where it recedes into a smaller part.
And it's naming conventions like these that seem to permeate throughout the West, which is why I'll never camp at a place called Devil's Ridge or like Dead
Just,
Man's Canyon,
just to be on the safe side.
Headless Murderer's Rock.
Well, there is a useful Missouri.
Oh boy, the implications.
Useful.
Yes, useful. And I think it originated. Well, I think it started off like they had. I think they had like a school / church and a saloon across the street, and it was the useful meeting point, right? And so everybody would go to the useful meeting point for Sunday, and so some of the people would go to church, and some of the people would go to the saloon. But it was a useful point out in the middle of nowhere, and it just grew. And so now it's a small city, and they've got like the useful cemetery, the useful this, the useful that, the useful other thing.
All right, these are the usefuls over here, and that over there is just Virginia.
And this is our useful idiot.
Yeah, Christina is adding one. Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
I wonder what
Yep.
How
goes
fun!
down
I wonder
there.
what happens there, right?
Yeah, right.
Then a readout. Sorry, can't be in person to stream tonight, guys. Whooped from the day job and a weekend of filming. Woo! We got some more videos coming
Yeah.
up.
Looks like he had some fun. He had a picture of a train, or him being on a train.
Oh hell, Christina.
Okay, and he's also adding on. There's also Blue Ball, Pennsylvania.
Oof, doesn't make me want to go down there, does it?
Wow, I'm sure it's probably just named after a blue bull. There you go. Yeah, blue oxen. That's what it's for. Yeah,
so sure.
naming conventions are really interesting. That's for sure. But now I really do want to look into places called like Dead Man's Bluff and see why is it named.
Yeah, man, you can't force language and names. I mean, they do now. Like they're kind of decided on, but a lot of the early names just came naturally, the way people describe areas and name places. I mean, of course, you have the people who discover the places that are going to found the land are going to put a name on it. But all those little towns they're not all thought out.
Right.
A lot of them it's what people call the area.
My son had intercourse here, so I'm gonna name it after that. Okay, we also got Fertility, Pennsylvania. Mars, Pennsylvania.
I used to live in Blue Ball, but I moved to Intercourse, and life is much better now.
There you go. That's usually a wise decision. And a majority of these towns, at least the ones mentioned by Readout, are all in Lancaster County. Well, I guess we getting physical down there in Lancaster. Okay, he says, my favorite is when they would name a crossroads town Centerville, but then have to change it because there's too many Centervilles.
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know what that's about. I guess a very popular name.
French Centreville, it just means downtown.
Springfield is another one. There's a lot
Yeah.
of states that have Springfield. And so you got to make sure which state you're talking about, because Springfield, Missouri is a lot different than Springfield, Illinois.
And you know, fiction uses Springfield
Uh-huh.
because it helps them stay vague about the actual location of the city, right?
Yeah.
You had Springfield in G.I. Joe. You have Springfield in The Simpsons, obviously the most famous case, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's another way naming conventions seep into freaking culture. Just name it after that. It's the 555 of town names, Springfield.
You were talking about the AI talking about werewolves earlier, and now we're into language stuff. And I remember in D&D that they had two different monsters. One was a werewolf, and the other one was a wolf were.
What the? What's a wolf wear?
So it's not a lycanthrope. I
Sounds
think
like a fashion accoutrement. This is this year's wolf wear.
I think it was. I hate to say it, but now that I'm thinking about it, I can't unsay it or unthink it and come up with something else. But like a furry version, or like a
Shit.
humanoid wolf or something.
Well, as long as it's not too furry, the kind you've run into conventions. But you know it'd be
It makes
hilarious.
me want to kill them.
Oh boy. Pack the silver.
In Dungeons and Dragons, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the video games, people in video games. I was thinking of a person getting like attacked by a werewolf-like creature. He's like, no, werewolf. Then it stops. Like, whoa. You're dead naming me? I'm a wolf were. It's like, I'm a dog man.
Yeah, because a werewolf is lycanthropy, and that also there's other forms, like there's werebears. I think they also have like were-coyotes, were-lions.
I think I like being a werebear. I think I could do that.
There's no weremoose yet.
Oof,
It's
deadly.
too horrifying a thought.
Well, werebears are generally good aligned. Depending upon which source book you're using, they can either be chaotic good, neutral good, or lawful good.
Interesting. Is there a were koala?
That I don't know about.
You know, it'd be funny if a bear was stricken with reverse lycanthropy. It was a form of like humanism. He turns into a human during the full
starts
moon.
to go bald and starts looking like a human.
Right?
It's
Exactly.
the saddest form of transformation.
Like, oh no, it's happening again. Everybody's just wondering who's this dude runs through town all naked. They lock him up, and in the morning there's just a bear in his cell.
That would make a good story, I think.
He's stricken with homocanthropy. It's like lycanthropy, but he turns into a human. Apparently, somebody with homocanthropy bit him some years ago. There's a dude running through the woods, runs into a bear and just bites him.
Oh, how about the woman who prefers the bear in the woods, but then the moon goes full moon and it turns into a man, and she's like, "Fuck!"
Oh shit! Now that's a love story for some furries.
Something, yeah, something.
Right? Or who knows? Maybe the bear, it turns out, is like a really great investor. Well, he's a human, and at night he makes all these magnificent investments.
Funny that the first thing you go to is investor.
That's all I got. I mean, that wasn't the first thing. Trust me, man.
First thing that could be aired on YouTube.
Exactly. What's up, Lord Otter?
It's an otter.
Hey, Otter.
I'm an otter.
He is an otter.
How's everybody doing tonight?
We're good. We're talking about homocanthropy, which is something we just made up.
Homocanthropy?
Yeah, it's like lycanthropy, but reversed. You get bitten and you turn into a human during the full moon.
I was going to ask, is there a homocanthropy Pride Day or something like that?
February.
Not under the Trump administration, I can tell you that.
You better watch out, Otter. You might get bitten by a homo cancer.
Yeah, you'd slowly turn into a
Ah.
human on full moons.
No. Anything but a Homo sapien.
You could like turn into a developer or something. It would be horrible.
A homocanthrope.
All right, we have Otter and Readout chiming in. I really want to go back up to Kane, PA, as I can do proper retracing history about the doctor who essentially saved the Lobo Wolf by making a reserve for them up there back in the 1930s. Oh, that's interesting. I have to check
Hail,
that out.
Christina.
Hail.
Hi. Hehehe.
But if it makes a video about wolves, I'll degenerate and start making references to Holo, the wise wolf from Spice and Wolf.
Yep.
I'm unfamiliar with that property.
Yeah, I don't know the
So-
reference.
Spice and Wolf is an anime about a merchant. He's a traveling merchant, sells stuff across the land, and one of his regular stops happens to be this place where they have a I don't remember. The wolf is their deity that they worship, and she helps with the harvest and some other different things and stuff. But it's been like hundreds of years or something that since she's been there, and she wants to go and travel and see the world. And since the local population is kind of getting away from believing in deities and stuff, she's kind of no longer needed. And so she decides that she's going to go travel the world with this traveling merchant. And he kind of teaches her the ways of mercantilism.
The ways of commerce.
Yep.
I've never
That's
seen
interesting.
Spice and Wolf, but I've heard Readout talk about it in the past. I've heard several others mention it before. It's on my to be watched list for as far as anime is concerned. One that's been on the list for quite some time.
Oh, it's an anime. I didn't know that.
Yep. I liked it. It's an interesting way of teaching capitalism without teaching capitalism.
Yeah? Is that what they go through? Like, they get into details about it and stuff?
Well, he goes through, like he buys stuff in this place and he hauls it off to another place and he sells it, which allows him to get some more money to go and buy something else to take it somewhere else and sell it.
It's Art of the Deal Anime Waifu Edition.
Yep.
Ha! Funny. How funny. And you
I'm
say
so
he's a
funny.
wolf. There's a wolf here. in the story.
She is.
She, of course, it's a she.
What is it? She's like a kitsune, is that right? Or is she just like a wolf spirit or something? I forget.
So she's kind of the local deity for the farmers and stuff. I don't know that they really go much into detail beyond that. That she's been around for hundreds of years. And I think she oversees the harvest or something. I don't remember.
She's
All
been
right.
around, you say.
As they often are.
Been around town.
Well, she just kind of avoided humanity because,
Oh, I understand. You don't need any explanation. I just totally understand.
Did she fall in love and her boyfriend broke her heart?
I don't know.
How dare you break my heart? I'll never
Right.
forgive you.
Achy breaky heart.
Oh my god. Door to Blackwood Company Hall. I'll have to let Blackwood know about that later.
Is this in Oblivion?
Yeah, this is Oblivion. This is the southernmost town of Leowin. Kajita's wares if you have coin.
Oh, is that the one where the meme came from, or was that the other game?
Oh, that's Skyrim where that
Okay.
meme came from.
Okay, just making sure. I don't remember. It's been so long since they've released one of those damn games.
Although I think they were in all three games.
Oh, the Khajiit, yeah, sure.
the Khajiit are, but I think I remember a merchant Khajiit saying something similar in one of them. Possibly Morrowind, but I don't remember.
So I mean, like the Khajiits, they've been in the series at least since Daggerfall, if not since Arena itself. However, what Khajiit look like can actually change.
Oh,
I think it
yeah.
was Morrowind where they took on kind of like their current appearance. I think it was Daggerfall where they're basically more just cat people. Like I forget. They look more humanoid, more human-like in Daggerfall. Like I think in
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls lore, there's like 5 different variations of Khajiit.
It depends what what the moon cycle they're birthed at is, kind of determines their physical form.
Yeah. There's like 5 different variations. Some are just like normal house cats, though they're still intelligent. Others are almost indistinguishable from humans.
Yes, and then you have some that are just gigantic buffo cats that look like lions.
Yeah.
The funniest ones are the house cats, though, because they dress like little gypsies. And then they talk as well, which is hilarious. That's one of the good things about the Elder Scrolls Online is they introduce all the different Khajiit, and then you can run into the damn house cats.
I forget whether it's Khajiits or it's somewhere between Khajiit, Argonians, and Dunmer that get the most racism in Tamriel. I forget which one gets the most. Probably Khajiit.
Well, Tamriel. That's difficult.
Well, in Tamriel, nobody likes anybody, but still.
yeah, and which one was a slave race? I think they make. I'll put them near the top because they're slaves.
Probably Argonians. That sounds like
that's what I'm thinking.
Argonians.
That's who I was thinking is the damn Argonian sons of bitches. I'm dealing with my own damn dog here who's begging for attention. Animals. So what are we drawing tonight, Frederick?
Do I need to bribe this guy?
I'm on mute.
Looks like a wizard.
It looks like a wizard, but it's actually a warlock because he's got like oh, you can't see at the bottom here, but let me. Yeah, I'm just doing the anatomy. It's all going to be covered with a cape. Don't worry about it. But you got like a horde of cats. Rats. You guys mix me up with your cat talk. Yeah, there's like a horde of rats running around his bare feet almost. He's just bandaged up here. He's got a snake going up his long staff, who's got a kind of a little bit of a bowling ball thing here. Here. That I'm using the spells. Oh, is this mirrored? Because I'm on it is mirrored. Hold on. Let me see if I can flip it. Because it's actually written warlock. Here we go. This is a little bit better. See, WARL and got an OCK. So a little bit off, but it might make it work. You got bats in the sky. You got stalagmites here. Another bat. That's kind of a wicked character, kind of a dark magical being. You're not sure what's behind his cold dead eyes, but there's power in there.
Looks cool.
Why, thank you, good sir.
And who is this one for?
This is actually just something I wanted to do to change things up, so it's not for anybody, not a commission, not part of the comic. It's just I needed to draw something different.
Frederick thought to himself, man, I've been drawing too many hot ladies lately, so I really need to mix it up by drawing an old haggard looking man.
You know, that's a thought that's never crossed my mind,
Are you sure?
That's a pretty good piece, though. Where did the inspiration for this one come from?
Well, there's an account on Twitter that's called Warlock Magazine, and I don't think they publish a magazine, to be honest, but it's kind of a take on old Wizard magazine that used to exist in the 90s, which used to spout news and drama about the comic scene. And it was about the time that Image was blowing up. So most of their coverage was about Image magazine, but little Marvel, little DC in there as well.
Speaking of
So-
Image,
Mhm.
I've been watching some of the original series for Todd McFarlane's Spawn. That's been pretty interesting.
Yeah, I hear good things. I saw the first
nice.
one, and I hear good things about it. It's apparently the best form of Spawn is the TV series. It works better than the comic does too.
Does it really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that much about it.
Yeah, because Todd had been writing for a little bit with Spider-Man, but when he got on Spawn, I mean, one of the big critiques you get is the story's kind of all over the place and it doesn't really go anywhere. And I think that the animated series they were kind of forced to put an overarching arc in there. I think a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of feels like I'm not going to say the writing's the best thing ever, but it is pretty solid for the most part. The animation is a big part of why it's really fun to watch. The animation is incredible.
Interesting. Is it the same people that did the Batman series? I think it's a well-known studio. I'm not sure about who it is though, but yeah, that was a good. I think that's Spawn's best adaptation. More because they had bad luck with the movie, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
I watched a little bit of the movie a little while back when I was younger. It was not very good.
No, it didn't stick the landing back then, and but he has hopes to have another go at Bat. So maybe he'll eventually make it work because you can make Spawn work.
Yeah, Spawn to me feels like okay, let's go with this very original concept. What if you had Batman and he was evil? That's kind of Spawn in a nutshell in a lot of ways.
Is he evil? I mean, he's sent to hell, but he
He's
does it
he's
to.
somewhere between an anti-hero and a villain. Somewhere between the two.
Right.
Like he does the right thing,
Because he
but he
cares
is
for his ex-wife, who's now with his friend.
yeah, the whole point is that Spawn is a tortured soul and the ranks of hell are constantly trying to manipulate and fuck with him.
Yes.
Yeah, which is why his main companion is a rather obese clown who is basically kind of the worst.
He's the devil himself, a high-ranking being in hell, I think.
Yeah,
something.
he's like a demon native of hell or something like that.
He's kind of assigned to Spawn, I think. The official troll following Spawn's case within hell.
Yeah, there's some really fun stories in it though. I think it has some fun ways of showing just how much Al Simmons or Spawn just got. He like you talk about one of the most tortured protagonists in fiction. Spawn is up there. Dude
Yes.
got royally fucked over,
Yeah.
and I mean he is kind of a prime example of an edgelord anti-hero character.
Sure.
And for the most part, I think it works because this is very much like I would call Spawn like firmly planted in the '90s anti-hero era of comics. Uh, the world itself
Definitely.
is very grimdark, like very grimdark. But it works. It actually does. It kind of feels sort of like a mix between kind of like Raymond Chandler or with a little bit of Blade here and there, bit of Batman too. It kind of feels like an adult counterpart to like Batman the animated series. That's what it feels like the most.
Mm-hmm. Is that Oblivion you're playing, Otter?
Yeah, this is Oblivion.
Interesting.
A buggy classic,
Indeed.
as
Is it-
most old
is
school
it-
Bethesda games are.
Is the adaptation buggy or is it good?
I mean, it's still buggy, but it's really fun to play.
It's the bugs you love.
Yes, they're fun bugs for the most part.
If the bugs weren't there, it wouldn't be Oblivion, I guess.
Yeah, and the Uncanny Valley faces are a feature, not a bug.
I mean, I could imagine. It reminds me a lot of the Fallout kind of sculpted faces for the NPCs. It's kind of fun to have a little grotesque. I mean, there's two things that are interesting to look at in this life: beauty and ugliness.
Well, speaking of beauty, hold on a second. I need to show you Sir Sid the Sloth.
Are you and Billy Bobsack trying for best character?
Oh, clearly. Look at that nose. Look at that schnoz.
Goodness.
That's a powerful character creator.
I know. It's wonderful.
I mean, it's got some flaws. Like you sometimes see parts of the face go through the masks. I noticed. I think it might have been in Billy Bob's character when he puts the helmet on. You can see a little bit of the. Is it the ears or the cheeks or something?
Hey, I'm fine with that. I'm not going to complain.
Sure, it's not going.
That's part of the charm,
right?
Yeah, in original Oblivion, you could make some absolute monstrosities. So, this remaster is very much keeping in tradition.
Is anything different? Does anything feel different about it, or?
So it's like the level scaling is probably the biggest thing that's been rehauled. It got rebalanced to where it's like the game doesn't kind of screw you over the more you play. It's done a lot better this time around. It's like how you actually level up has changed just a little bit, but most of the game is really just kind of like it's like little things, how the game controls, how it looks. Like the game looks very good now.
Yeah, I
Nice.
figured out how the game worked, and then I realized this is the dumbest thing ever, and I wanted to stop playing it. Because basically you can pick the 3 skills that you are never going to use, and then just massively level up your character on all the other things. And because you've never leveled, and everything is scaled to your level, you basically murder everything.
This like I'm not going to say this game completely fixes the level scaling, but it's much
Oh.
better than what the original did.
Uh-oh.
What's that, Raven?
I think you paused for a bit, or at least on my screen you did.
No, it looks good on here.
It might just be the network on your end or something.
I've actually been having a lot of issues with StreamYards the past almost month. Now I'm currently on Brave browser, and this is
I
the
know.
one that has been working the best so far. Because Firefox somehow I can't block out the background noise, so the mic picks up everything, like the laptop's fan, and it's just horrible. And Chrome, just the sound stopped at some point, like 3 weeks ago or something. Like I just couldn't get any sound, so I had to switch to Firefox, which had terrible sound. So now Brave I think is running the same engine as Chrome, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah, should be Chrome based.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Kind of recommends Chrome, but I don't know why the audio just stopped working at some point.
Yeah,
I need to talk to this alchemist lady again. She wants 5 bits of ectoplasm, and I'm like, hey, where can I find that shit? Please help me out, alchemist lady.
Don't you get that from ghosts?
Yeah, ghosts.
I know, but it's just a good place for finding ghosts. That's the kicker.
They're always in the graveyard crypt.
So this is a complete overhaul of the engine, or is this like using Unreal or something else?
So it's like the same engine, but they laid over Unreal 5 on top of it for a graphical overhaul. Did I mention I hate dogs?
So it's got more than one engine.
Oh, it's incredible.
How's the FPS like? Is it good?
It's decent. I'm not going to say it's amazing. This is Unreal 5 we're talking about here. It's not very well optimized.
Yeah,
But
I don't think this game would work on the Steam Deck from what I heard.
probably not. Unreal 5, like, I have a pretty high-end rig, and Unreal 5 even makes my machine stutter time to time, and I'm like,
Yep.
I don't think that's my computer. I just think that's Unreal 5.
To be fair, all the engines had problems until the new experimental engine comes out, and then they fix the ones in 4, and now everyone's using 5, but 5 still has like the same buggy features. Like, in Steam Deck, if you're running in Unreal 5, you're gonna have issues.
Oh yeah,
It's to
for
be
sure.
expected. Yeah.
Like I played a little bit of First Descendant whenever it came out. And the first thing I noticed when I played that game is, why is my rig struggling with this game? There's nothing like really special going on here. I realized, oh, it's just Unreal 5 being unoptimized. Like really unoptimized.
Be right back, guys.
I've been playing a lot of Sleepless Dogs.
Sleeping Dogs?
Sleeping Dogs, yeah.
Oh, nice. I've always
Bill-
heard good things about that game.
Yeah, Billy Bob recommended it, and I got it on sale for $3. It's like,
Oh,
dude,
nice.
$3, and it is so good, dude. Everyone says the same thing. Is that the thing about Sleeping Dogs is the world feels lived in much more than any other game I've played so far. Like, I was walking in a back street on the map, and there was like two like cooks on their break, on their on their smoke break outside, and I just walked past one because I'm curious, and he just sneezes out of the blue. I'm like, whoa. It's like an NPC just sneezed. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then I walk down the street. I head to a main street, and then this guy's just walking and just pulls out a cigarette and just lights it as he's walking down the street. I'm like, whoa, this feels real, man. And the kicker is when it starts to rain. Like, you start to feel the raindrops coming in, you see the rain reflecting on the street, and everyone starts pulling out their umbrellas or covering their heads. It's so good, man. It's so reactive. It's the best lived-in world I've played so far.
Compare that to your average Bethesda game where it's like you're just like putting a bucket over their heads while you're stealing everything from under their nose and they don't react at all. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I still love a lot of Bethesda games, but I'm like, they're not the most lived in feeling worlds, that's for sure.
No, and it doesn't end there. Like, when you're driving manically down the street, because it's Hong Kong, you have to drive on the left side. You always forget you have to be on the anyway. The NPCs will freak out. Like, if you drive close to them, they actually react, jump out of the way, and they're like, "You're crazy," you know. It's really good. It's really good.
Hey, good open world games. A lot of them have those kinds of details. I haven't played too many like true open world games. There's a couple I can think of off the top of my head that either do that or at least come close. First one's gonna have to be Red Dead 2. Like, that's a pretty obvious choice. I really like Red Dead 2. Next one I can think of, it isn't a true open world game, but the first Witcher RPG does a really good job of making it feel like you're in a living world. It's like if it rains, like pretty much everybody in a town will just immediately try and like hide under a house or something like that. They'll be like covering their heads and everything.
Yeah, definitely. I've always enjoyed it when the NPCs were more than just like simple background paper, or wallpaper for the player to get a little bit engrafted into the old school games and all that. That's what they did. But now we got the more advanced ones. The one that I always thought was funny was the some of the Skyrim NPCs, because when a dragon would show up, they just like, no matter who it was, they just go out there to like fist fight it. I'm not sure if you guys remember the good old Skyrim and
Oh,
PCs.
yeah.
I haven't played
Yeah.
it yet. I've got it on my wish list because it's one. There was two that people have always told me, "Oh, you got to play this game." There was Batman: Arkham Asylum, which I did. I played it. It's done off the list. And Skyrim's the next one. It's on my wish list, so I'm gonna deep dive on that eventually.
I remember it being good, but that was like 2 decades ago. So
For me, it's like Skyrim is an extremely flawed game that you should absolutely played.
Yes.
I hear it's got a great modding community, which is what
Yes.
is
The
attracting me
best.
to it. Yeah, because I'm playing a lot of New Vegas with a lot of mods, and it's fun.
You think New Vegas is good with mods? Try Skyrim with mods. It's a
Yeah.
whole new world.
I'm looking
There are
forward
so
to
many
it.
different good mods. Two of the best ones that I enjoyed were basically like NPC overhauls. Trying to remember what they were called. One of them was like NPCs that didn't care that you were the chosen one. Like they just really didn't care. They had their own lives to live. And then there
I
was
also
another.
just hate that in Skyrim that you are the chosen one. That I hate that trope in RPGs. I always have.
Yeah. And then there was another one that was some. I think one of them was like interesting NPCs, and the other one was irreverent NPCs or something. I don't know. A couple of different ones. It just uh, they had different ideas on NPCs. Like one of them, I think, had like their own little quest things to do. One of them added a couple of extra people that you could add to your party and such. Um, and some of them were a lot more interesting as adventuring partners than the default ones that come with the Skyrim.
I remember there was a pretty good mod back in the day where because there's like a civil war going on. So what the mod did is when you were out open in the world, it would actually create NPCs for both sides and then just have random battles
Yeah,
occur.
that was one of the other fun ones. Um,
Like, oh shit, the Stormcloaks and the Imperials are having a battle over here.
yeah, I'm trying to remember. I combined that with another one, and I think it was patrols or something. And so rather than just having random battles in different places, you would end up getting patrols, and then the patrols would run into each other, and then those would end up causing the battle scenes. Because like the different cities have their own soldiers, and so around those cities, the patrols would add roaming patrols around the city and such.
That
And
was one of
then
the most underwhelming aspects of the original Skyrim was it was just the fact that you had this whole civil war going on,
yeah,
but it was like you never hardly saw any fights.
that's that those two mods just made it absolutely brilliant because you could actually tell that there was a civil war going on.
Yeah, it reminds me of Grand Theft Auto 4 mods as well. Like there's rival gangs will fight in the street as you're walking along. There's also
Nice.
one that that makes the police actually more realistic in a way. So it cranks the difficulty. But like if you're speeding, if you're trying to leave the police, if you're doing stuff around them, if you got your weapon out near a police officer, all of that is going to get you the cops on your trail, right? So it
Nice.
makes it a lot more interesting. I haven't tried it out, but I just find it's one of the most interesting ones, but you got to be willing to crank the difficulty up for that.
And then you
But
got the weird mods too.
See
Like
you, Christina.
oh, she's headed out. Christina's
Oh,
headed out. Have a great
good
night,
night.
everyone.
Yeah,
Had a
good night.
bad toothache and I'm going to Mars. Just going to Mars. There was this awesome mod. Well, I wouldn't call it awesome, but essentially what the mod would do in Skyrim, if you died, a pack of wolves would come out and they'll just start raping your body.
What?
I probably should have said that the R word on YouTube, but we're here now. Yeah,
Well,
that's mod scene for you. There's everything, the good, the bad, and the furry.
oh dear Lord, I've
Oh
stayed
God, don't
away.
remind me.
Yeah, I've stayed away from like all the weird stuff. I've just been looking at stuff that kind of stays true to the game, but will finish off what the developers couldn't do, especially with New Vegas. Like they had 18 months to produce what they did. They planted a lot of good seeds, but they couldn't finish
Oh
everything.
yeah.
So a lot of the modders picked up material like unused material in the game and filled it out. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
the kind of stuff I'm looking for.
Some homebrew DLC, man. That's where it's at.
Dude, it's people building what they want to see.
It's what
It's
makes
just,
Skyrim Skyrim.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
no corporate middlemen. It doesn't have to go through HR for approval. You
Are
know
you
what I mean?
sure?
It has to go through Nexus mods for approval.
Yeah, but
Um,
Oh,
even
bro.
they seem to have they've caved, right, for the male female mod in Oblivion, I believe. At least
That
that was
looks
the
so
last.
stylish.
yeah, the one they caved. Hopefully, this is a sign from things to come. And we got King Bob chiming in. I'm playing Skyrim right now because Maji made me. I may need some of those mods because so far it's an okay game to me.
Yeah. I think one of the other fun ones was what are the elves called? The Thalmar or something?
Oh yeah, the Thalmor.
Valid.
Well, the whole I think part of the whole reason why the Empire is fighting the barbarians is because the Thalmor have taken over and are requiring stuff. And so one of the mods, or maybe it was two of them, was a set of adventures, um, kind of detailing what exactly because they were like, it introduced some Thalmor. Um, what was it like? Political people that basically came in and they were overseeing the empire doing stuff, and it just kind of it made things a bit more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it brings it to life. It adds character to the world, and then it really just brings like I think what it does the best is it showcases the factions. It does it in a way that the game otherwise really didn't upon release. Because you're right, I really didn't felt too much like if I chose a storm cloaks the Imperials, it really affected anything to a major degree. Exterior, a handful of lines and a quester here or there.
Yeah, and just like what was the Fallout 4? I just enjoy playing all the factions against each other. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go as far as I can in all the different faction quests that I can. And so I kind of did the same thing with Skyrim. But then they always want you to choose a side and stuff. And so it's like, nah, I'll go do my own thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and New Vegas is heavy on that with the big three factions.
New
And
Vegas is just set up a lot better, in my opinion, though.
Yep.
It's written a lot better than Skyrim is at faction quests. Like each of them feels distinct. You get a sense for how they run things. They do have different actions they'll do if you cross them. It's just done so much better.
You could put on a costume and just sneak in as one of them if you can as well. Like a lot of good stuff. Fallout is kind of laid. The foundations were laid in the fact that you could beat the game in three different ways, right? Shooting your way through it, talking your way through it, or stealthing your way through it. And I think New Vegas was a lot of the original creators were working on that one, and they took bits and pieces from the Van Buren project, which was going to be the Fallout 3, the 2D version,
Yeah.
right? That was kind of canceled, and
Oh yeah.
but the plans were released, and the people working on New Vegas were the same bunch, I believe, for the most part.
Yeah, I
Is
think they
it
were.
crazy that I think it might not be a bad idea if they made another isometric Fallout game?
It'll probably be for mobile.
The thing is, like, it wouldn't even have to be like a mainline Fallout game. It could just be a spin-off or something like that. But I'm like, the Fallout series is kind of rooted in isometric CRPG roots. Why not
Yeah.
take advantage
Yeah.
of that for a game
Yeah.
or two?
100%.
There was tactics.
Yeah, but that was before Fallout 3 came out,
Yeah.
like even remotely close. I kind of want there to be like you've seen a lot of games sort of like Divinity Original Sin, Baldur's Gate 3, Pillars of Eternity come out that are kind of like modern remixes on these like classic games, and a lot of them have done it quite well. I want to see that for Fallout a little bit. I mean, you've got like Wasteland 2 and 3, but that's about as close as you've gotten.
Yeah, I got a bit into Wasteland 2, and I don't remember if I just got distracted or I had other things going on or something, but I ended up stopping playing that. And it's like I just have not been able to get back to it. And since 3 came out, I'm just like, I feel like I'm falling so far behind. And then these days, it's like I've got other things I'm trying to work on. I don't think I've really played I don't feel like I've played a real game in quite a while.
I'm
Just
sort of
because
at a
of,
point where I almost have to play a game just to kind of get my mind off of things. I like right around the time that I finished my first book, Curse of the Star Raids, it felt like I needed a game just to kind of like recharge a little bit, along with books, of course. I don't even know what's going on there. But this time around, I'm already starting to get that compulsion, just as I'm kind of like formatting and getting everything fixed up for the release. It's like once you finish that story, it's like you need something to just recharge the batteries. And I hear that's pretty common, like when you're actually like done creating something, and it's like you need something there to just kind of like remind you why you like did it in the first place.
Yeah, a little bit of a recharge, you know.
Yeah.
You need to consume. You're running low on imaginative calories.
You really need to consume art in order to appreciate it.
Yeah. I think
That's
that's what
true.
my little dive into science fiction did for me. I watched 2 whole fucking shows in like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, but I skipped a
wow.
lot of filler. Like when I smelt the filler. Like, nah, skip this. We don't need this.
Now, when you were watching Stargate Atlantis, did you watch them? Did you watch it overlapped with Stargate SG-1 whenever it had the overlap?
Believe it or not, I have not seen Stargate Atlantis. I was just an SG-1 guy.
Oh, okay. So you went from SG-1 to Universe.
Yes.
Wow, that's oh.
Yes. I mean, Universe was better than I remember it, but the filler really did hold it back, and it tried to go um the Galactica route by having a lot more like character, episodes focus on characters, but it
Yeah,
just came off as soap opera melodrama, and that's essentially what holds it back because the overall plot revolves around, and like when I tell you the plot, it does sound interesting, and it is interesting. Um, it revolves around them finding an ancient ship that is older than pretty much civilization itself, and it's floating through space somewhere deep on the other side of a galaxy. And its original point of where it left was Earth itself. So it was built by the ancient civilizations for an unknown reason. So the awesome aspects of the show is when they're exploring this ship, which is heavily inspired by like Geiger. Um, it just things look biological. They're really cool. They got kind of like a steampunk vibe to them. Um, and the show itself is beautiful, even for its time. I think that the low light helps with some of the CGI shots. But when they step away from all that, when you stop exploring this ship, this weird ship, and the more they do unveil, it's so freaking cool. But it's like, oh, and here's all these characters, even though that you're in space on the other side of the galaxy, you deal with this character's lesbian relationship. You deal with this guy being a baby, having a kid on Earth to a woman he's not married to. This dude's his wife's cheating on him with another military officer. It's like none of that's interesting, and it just holds down the show. And I see why I fell off first time around, but
Yeah,
I
I think
see a really good, tight fan edit in there that could improve the show.
I think part of that came from like wasn't Battlestar Galactica going on at the same time, and that pissed off some of the old fans because they did all the drama soap opera stuff. But I think one of the things that one of my friends said was that, well, it made it more interesting for people's wives, and so the women had something to watch as well.
No, that's a
And
terrible reason to watch a sci-fi show.
yeah, but
Well, they didn't apparently.
yeah, and so if you go back, I knew couples that had watched Stargate SG-1 and they absolutely freaking loved it, and then so they ended up watching Stargate Atlantis, and some of them really enjoyed it. Some of them it was okay, and then you got to Stargate Universe, and like they just all hated it.
Yeah, they all dropped off. And I was watching a lot of background stuff on it too, because I was just so interested. And I actually really hope, watching it now, it would have been really good to get at least a third season. But the whole shtick was they they expected sort of like more of in the Stargate crowd. They're making it basically for not the Stargate crowd. Completely anyways, because it
Yeah,
does have Stargate elements in there. In fact, I'd say the clash, there's a heavy clash between the essence of Stargate, which is there, and them trying to Galactica Stargate, and it just
yeah,
clashes terribly at times. But they said essentially they wanted to make it for a bigger crowd. The show was in production before SG-1 was canceled and Universe and Atlantis was canceled. And when the show was first announced, it was first announced in an article. I think it was a freaking Game Informer article where
hmm,
they were talking about, hey, we may not have SG-1 anymore, but we're going to get this brand new show. So they were trying to make a show that would compel to more than just the SG crowd, but at the same time, it was the only Stargate anything on the air. And when it officially aired, the only people who tuned in was the Stargate crowd.
yeah,
So they fell into the whole of the modern day woke bullshit of you have a inbuilt crowd, but you want to get this other audience. Except at least this
yeah,
time, this audience actually existed.
and
But
and
you just alienated your fan base. The other audience doesn't want to have anything to do with it, and then the show fell off.
yeah, and the fans of Stargate SG-1 were like hardcore science fiction geeks that absolutely loved hardcore science fiction stuff. And then Stargate Universe kind of was trying to normalize things for the average viewer and stuff. And it's like you lose people when you're dumbing stuff down. You lose that hardcore, really geeky people.
I would say that it has plenty for the hardcore geeky people, but it does add in a lot of stuff for like the mellow sci-fi soap opera drama,
Yeah,
which also kind of it was a crutch because they had added it in early on. It stole away from the interesting aspects of the show. It ripped away from the plot and it made things move at a snail's pace. And then they realized it, so they got rid of 80% of it, except for like 2 characters bullshit. And they just had all this wasted airtime that essentially ruined season 2, because season 2 didn't stand a chance, and it is by far the better season because you can see them moving, going back to Stargate. It's like, all right,
yeah,
more enemies, more planets. They introduced
More action.
more action. They had a persistent enemy this time that would follow them throughout the galaxy. I'm like, okay, that's Stargate. Now you have this constant threat. So they
Yeah.
were getting back at it slowly and getting rid of the stuff that didn't work and keeping some of the stuff that did work. And with that said, we are introducing Billy Bob Sack. How you doing?
Oh my God, it's in light mode.
Now that's true sacrilege.
Hell.
But I enjoyed watching the Star Trek series, and whenever you get to the end of Next Generation, I would overlap the episodes between Next Generation and Deep Space Nine because they had periods of time where one character would disappear from one show and show up on the other one, and some of that back and forth. And if you're just watching the one, you're like, "What in the world's going on?" And then once I think once you get to the end of DS9, you've got some overlap with Voyager. I think I don't remember. It's been a long time.
I
But I
forgot
kind
how
of
do you put it back in dark mode, by the way.
Billy Bob, you would know something about that. Did DS9 overlap with Voyager?
Yes. So DS9 overlapped with TNG in the 5th or 6th and 7th season. Voyager overlapped DS9 in the 6th and 7th season as well.
yeah. And then
You need to
So-
know about the Maquis.
The
Oh,
Maquis.
yeah,
I don't remember how they're done in Voyager. Problem is Voyager's kind of like separated all together from most of the stuff, to be honest.
yeah,
The Maquis in DS9 have a definitive end.
yeah. So
Is that like a show's alien race there?
No, so it's like so in DS9 you have the demilitarized zone between the Federation and the Cardassians. In this deal, they made no weapons, nothing supposed to be in here, and they swapped the planets from Cardassian to Federation planets back and forth with each other. This caused a lot of hatred between the Federation planets, feeling like they got fucked over by the Federation.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff's going on, but pretty much they turn into like a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
like they might have colonized a planet generations ago, and so their great grandparents worked that planet, helped transform it and stuff, and so that's where their family has always been. That's where they always want to be, and now they've got these other people coming along and saying, "Nope, it's no longer your planet; it's somebody else's planet, and you need to leave." And
I
how
will
well
ask
does that
this:
turn out?
does anyone know how to turn this back into dark mode?
No, I don't. You
Yeah,
talking about the StreamYard UI?
yeah.
I don't know.
I've never even seen it in dark mode. It's always been in light mode, and
No, this is
Yeah.
bright, man. I
Huh.
always have it in dark mode.
Oh,
it must be on your end, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's on your end, Billy.
okay, I see it. It's you go into settings,
Mhm.
and you go to general, and it's at the way bottom. There's a little tab says appearance, light, dark.
Shit, where's the settings?
I mean, it's just it's right next to your camera button.
I see the settings, but there's no general in
Yeah.
mine.
Really? There's no general in yours? There's general
Oh,
in
that
mine.
must be on your end because it's your channel.
Okay, there. I set it to dark mode on mine. Does that help? I don't know if it works for everybody's.
Maybe you got to refresh.
Do I got to refresh? We
No,
can
I
do that
mean,
later.
maybe we. I don't recommend it. It's going to crash the stream, but
Right, he's
Also,
rejoining.
I was hoping to give a shout out to Johnny Douglas today. He just left a review for Curse of
Okay.
the Star Raids earlier.
Yeah, you want to read
Cool.
your review?
Well, it's not a written review.
Oh, okay.
It's an actual video review. All I can really say is go out and check it out. It's a really good review.
Okay,
Oh,
John A. Douglas video review. It's on his channel.
Yep. He
Righteous.
just released it earlier today.
Did that fix
Cool.
the issue, Billy Bob?
No.
Oh,
No,
that's strange.
I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm a guest account. I don't really go on.
Yeah,
as
that's
guest.
probably it. Oh, it's probably just some shenanigans in the back end too. Because I changed it on mine. I don't know what's up. Maybe you have to do it prior to stream. I don't know. Is
Yeah,
there a way I
you
can
God
make you a
damn it,
mod?
Billy! Why
Maybe
you
it'll give you
gotta
those
fuck it
options.
all up?
Yeah.
Is there a way I
I
can
think
like?
it's just because I'm a guest on here and it's like that. I
Yeah.
don't know.
How do I make you like a co-stream owner or whatever? So maybe it'll give
You
you
don't
that
have to
option.
do that, man.
That's too late. I'm already doing it. How? Tell me quickly.
You
it
have
in.
to go. This have to be after stream, but you'd have to go into your team referrals, and you'd have to. I'll give you my email.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a referral. That's crazy.
you'd have to end the stream and restart it, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
that had to be done like after.
Thanks, StreamYards. You and your expensive subscription worth every dollar. So convenient. King Bob says somehow this is all Wrangler's fault, and we're going to
Yep.
blame it on him for now.
Wait, why the fuck are you not in here, Gino? Get in here. We're gonna make this a Star Trek show. What are you talking about?
I guess you can. We got about another 25 minutes. Talk some Trek. We always end up somewhere in space.
So I do want to say this. I brought this up earlier, Otter. So in Anvil, there's a quest in Oblivion
Yes.
where so you're talking to this Red Guard woman.
I know the quest you're talking about because I stumbled across it my first playthrough of the game.
Okay, so to give context to anyone listening to that play Oblivion, she basically says, "Oh, my dirty husband, he got robbed of his family heirloom by this gang of harlots and stuff, right? These women who seduce these married men to steal their shit. They're too embarrassed to announce it. So they send your character to the inn to, get involved with this thing.
Yeah.
The funny part is, like, an Imperial chick and a Nord chick walk in, and they're the gang. And the after she talks to you, and I guess if you're playing a female character, they want you to join. If they're playing, I'm pretty sure if you're playing a male character, they try to like lure you in to kill you. Is what happens. I'm sure Otter, right?
Yeah, it is.
I'm pretty sure it's actually gendered on that.
It
But anyways, the Nord lady went, we know we could really do with another pretty face in our gang. And I might have to share my screen on that.
Your character is anything but a pretty face.
Oh boy.
I was like, man, if I could fucking record that, dude, I would just pan around to my character's face. I'm
Yeah,
like, sure,
Otter-
Gabe, sure.
Otter showed us his character, and I was like, "Oh wow, that you guys are in competition, aren't you?"
Yeah, but technically, I'm the OG. I made mine first. Yeah. And she kind of looks like the fucking monkey chick from
Ew.
Planet of the Apes. All right. Let me share screen.
That's pretty gross.
Yeah. Here we go.
Is that a dead end? Oh, don't tell me that I can't go through that one-way game.
Oh boy, look at that one.
Oof.
What are you talking about? She looks great. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
It's
her
what we
name's
call a
Bernice.
butterface.
Yeah. Her name is Dumbo the Ape.
Dumbo the
didn't
Ape versus Sid the Sloth.
By the way, it took me like 2 or 3 hours after I was playing the game the first day when it came out to realize I picked Imperial. I didn't even mean to do that. It just happened.
That looks like an Imperial woman.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm playing a Nord.
A filthy milk drinker.
How dare you say that?
Oh boy, true. Skyrim for the Nords and Argonians can cheat because whatever race you pick, you can still join the Star Clubs.
Oh, look, you're finally awake. I love
Awesome.
doing the Skyrim Nord voice. It's so easy to do, and it's really fun.
Oh, I need to look at how much gold I did have as well. By the way, on her, I think I have like 90-something thousand. My character's loaded right now.
I've got like 30,000, but you, right at 40,000 actually. But you've been playing a lot more than I have. Somehow, I am leveling up just as like a lot faster than you are. I don't know how that's happened.
I'm at 96,273 gold.
Jeez.
And I am level. Let me see. Where does it show the level? 23.
Okay. I'm right at level 20.
Yeah, that's right. I'm having to use the alchemy because it's a main skill and that actually gives good leveling up. So I have to use that now. And alchemy is it has a little bit more complexity to it than Skyrim did. You actually have to have 4 things to really do alchemy if you really want to make good potions and stuff on you. And they have like 5 different tiers each one.
I forgot there was a whole place in here called Blackwood.
Yeah. It's right next to the farm tools homeland.
Yeah, Blackwood Marsh, home of the tall
Second-
lizards.
Second only to Myrish Swamp.
Mirish.
Myrish Swamp.
We need to build a wall around Blackwood.
Well, I mean,
And the Argonians are going to pay for it.
you know the
Yeah.
hit. Well, that'd be Black Marsh, not Blackwood.
I mean, I'm looking at Billy Bob's character, and it looks like she hit the wall.
Well, you know,
Several
Yeah.
times.
she's the most fairest of them all. You know,
She is the wall.
that's right. I'm surprised I've actually done a full playthrough with that fucking character. Sometimes I forget, and then I go to third person and see my character's face.
Scare yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god. And it's even worse with the helmet on. Like I have glass armor, Otter.
Yeah.
By the way, I forgot how much I fucking hated glass armor in this game. How ugly it is.
Oh,
It's like bright green.
I'm to the point where I'm wearing full like ebony armor and everything.
If I was wearing
wow.
heavy armor, I could be wearing Daedric. I have a full set of it. Pretty much everything spawns with like Daedric armor now and shit. And
I
Daedric weapons.
think a lot of the items that drop, it's not level based. I think it's based off your skills, like how high they are.
Yeah.
Maybe.
pretty
Well,
sure.
I mean, I have.
That sounds about right.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know, like I'm only like level 19 and I'm like it's already spawning some pretty high level gear and stuff like that.
Yeah, but keep in mind, like, once you're hitting level 20, that's pretty high level in this game, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Compared to other Elder Scrolls games, well, it seems to depend on the game whether that's high level or not. Like Morrowind, yeah, that's high level. Skyrim, no, not really.
Skyrim, that's about a little under halfway.
Yeah.
Point. But then
And
again, Skyrim technically high.
Daggerfall,
Yeah, Skyrim technically 80 is high level.
yeah. I mean, like, I guess you could make the argument that Elder Scrolls games up until about Skyrim were kind of going more off of like tabletop logic, where it's like level 20 was usually considered extremely high level.
Right.
Yeah. Skyrim came out after Fallout 3, and Fallout 3 was using new weird ideas based off of the Fallout franchise.
Well, no, Fallout 3 had the exact, a little bit different level up system from Oblivion. It was much more about the perk points instead of, or the points in the skills.
Yeah, well, that came out with the perks and stuff.
Yeah, but Skyrim like slimmed it down, made it all just perks. That's all it was.
I have mixed feelings about how leveling is done in Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Like, in one way, it's very satisfying, but in another, it's like, this kind of doesn't make a whole ton of sense.
I mean, I get it, but I personally enjoy it, and I enjoy it over Skyrim and Fallout 4 and even Starfield's dog shit perk system.
Oh, don't get me started about Fallout 4's leveling system. I hate Fallout 4's leveling system.
Skyrim's like, you leveled up, so you get a perk point. Oh, what do I get from this perk? Oh, 10% more damage.
Speaking of 10% more damage, Gino's here.
Hey, Gino.
That's right, Gino.
I
What's
guess
a
I'm
good
worthy of
segue,
10% more damage.
That's right.
That's right. That's your life boon. 10% more damage.
All right, Gino, we're gonna give you the hard question. What's your opinion on the Maquis?
Now this is Oblivion. Whenever you're encountering bandits that have like glass and what is it? Glass and elven armor and shit, you know you're playing Oblivion.
I'm a pro Maquis guy.
You're a pro Maquis?
Yeah, they got screwed over by the Federation. It's a bunch of crap, so I understand exactly where they're coming from.
I have a little bias of not liking the Maquis because I just remember that god awful propaganda episode of White Guilt in TNG. You don't remember it?
I don't know episodes by names generally. I
So
just
this was
know what they are.
So this was the Traveler episode. Wesley is on there,
Oh, that's
and
any episode with Leslie as the freaking main character. is crap.
hold up.
Shut up,
The
Wesley.
whole episode is that the Indian tribes, they're getting screwed over, right? And they're having to leave their planet, right?
Yeah, I remember this episode.
And they're like, Picard, you must do something because of your ancestors that are French, but you're white. So you must atone for your sins of your ancestors. It was that. It was one of the fucking worst episodes. And then it had the whole subplot of the Traveler with Wesley, because Wesley's so special that they had to keep him out of reality and existence. Yes. Yeah.
Don't you love Wesley? He's the special quote unquote character who just so happens to be like the most fucking annoying little shit in the entire franchise. Or one of the
Yeah.
most annoying ones.
And the actor seems to be so well suited for that role.
I know. Man,
I used-
remember that time whenever Will Wheaton was actually kind of known as sort of a cool person? That didn't last terribly long.
Nope.
And he also like lies on his parents and stuff. His story. It doesn't add up the most, you know.
He had a
Just
really
saying.
good YouTube channel though.
The gaming stuff.
Yeah, I used to love
was
watching
like-
his
Yeah.
tabletop.
He was with like Critical Role and everything, wasn't he?
I don't remember him being on Critical Role.
He
was
wasn't
a
like
guest.
actually playing with them,
Oh,
but he was like
as a
part of-
guest. Okay.
he would guest and he would also do like a lot of collaboration stuff with them.
I think he was. It was because like maybe the companies were a little bit together or something. I don't know. He
It
ended
was
up with
something like that.
like the what was the name of the original company that they started out on?
Yeah, wasn't it
Geeks and Sundry?
Geeks and Sundry, yeah.
Yeah, I
Him
think that
and
he had.
Felicia Day and who else was it? Critical Role. There's like 4 people in that, 4 main channels that was in that thing.
Yeah.
Oh joy, Felicia Day. Everyone's favorite.
And Critical Role.
Hey,
you
she's
know.
still my favorite.
I mean, it's kind of backfired on them a little bit because they've garnered such like a fanatical lefty audience.
They're known as the Critters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, have like absolutely lost their shit that that the Critical Role is making a lot of money.
Oh no.
Remember that
Well-
it was like a collective of like 7 million or some shit.
Yeah.
Hold
The
on, you're
whole,
telling me
you know-
they have a problem with the company they love making a lot of money?
Yes.
Yes.
Remember, they're commies.
Mm-hmm.
I
Hmm.
hate commies.
You're supposed to
Congratulations.
spread the wealth,
Such a
comrade.
passion.
Yeah, ask Tim Pool how well that works in a company.
Wow, what happened, Timble?
He had to fire like half his people because they weren't doing the job to his satisfaction. Which is funny because originally he said, "I don't care. You know, you come in whenever you want, work as much as you want."
Oh,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's like,
So
man,
this is,
everyone's collecting paychecks but not working. What the fuck?
So there is
Exactly.
one byproduct to a lot of the changing kind of like reputation around Geeks and Sundry and Critical Role and everything. I've heard it termed like this. People are saying that the quote unquote Hollywood era of D&D is coming to a close, and I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that. You know, the
Yep.
the age of Critical Role, like it's still going to be around, but it's no longer like center stage in like TTRPGs and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm cool with that.
Well, they're also using their own system as well, right?
Yeah. Well, I think everybody was united under 5th edition there for such a long time, and like not without its own merits. Like I don't really gravitate towards 5e now, but it's like the game did a really good job of kind of like getting everybody into the hobby. And yeah, it was like really accessible. Like it didn't take too much time compared to some other systems. It was just kind of like the right thing at the right time. So there is merit in that, but I'm kind of glad that things are splintering just a little bit.
Yeah, but
Just a
didn't
little bit.
it's kind of a double-edged sword because they got a bunch of people who think that is D&D, that is tabletop.
Well, it's not necessarily that they think 5e is like like
No. The style of
D&D.
Critical Role.
Yeah, you're talking about the Matt Mercer effect.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people despise. That's what I don't like, and that's even what Matt Mercer himself doesn't like.
What's the Matt Mercer effect actually depicting?
So very heavily story gaming.
It's
less
story gaming to the point where D&D is less of a game and more of low-key improv theater.
It's like a theater, yeah.
Yeah, and all the people, everyone having to role play and everyone have to put on voices and shit. And I'm like, it can work for some groups, not gonna lie.
It depends on the group. Like that's ultimately what it comes down to.
But not for most. Like,
the problem is the DM like forcing it on his players. That shit is annoying.
Oh yeah.
that's right, Gino.
I never forced you to do any voices.
That's
Otter's the voice guy. I don't do voices.
You forced me to roleplay.
I'm a
Master
guilty
Roshi.
boy.
Or Master Yoshi, I mean.
I don't recall that at all.
Master Yoshi.
Yeah, Master Yoshi. He had like a crackhead monkey or something like that.
That was funny.
That was really funny, actually.
Wasn't he a sorcerer? I had him. I think it's the only time I ever played like a sorcerer or some shit. As well.
Yeah, I'd have to completely redo your characters because they have completely changed everything in that system.
It
For the
sounded
better.
like the game was being developed quite rapidly last time I saw it.
Oh, he's definitely game testing it. They update it once a month, and sometimes they're like major updates, sometimes they're not. It depends, but yeah, he's live streaming his games just to show you how it works. I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah, I think I'm a Castle and Crusade simp right now.
I've really become a Castles and Crusades simp over the last half year.
Yeah, it's right. I think. Well, we've been playing over half a year now.
Yeah, dude, time flies. I swear, it's actually shocked me how long that game's been fucking running. I'm like, holy shit, it's been like 30 sessions now of us playing.
And technically, you had your first actual player character death.
Not last session, but the session before. Yes. Cyanistra bit the dust there for a little bit, for a couple of in-game days before you all brought her back.
Yeah, and Rondo about had it. I think he learned a hard lesson last session.
Well, it was like his character was constant. He was like splitting up frequently from the rest of the group and going into random rooms looking for a fight. I'm like, yeah, this next room has a kind of a lich inside it. Yeah, have fun.
Did you see what me and Nikolai did, right?
Just like actually just left them to it. Like didn't immediately go and save them.
Yeah,
no, I knew what you all were doing.
Nikolai did. I think Nikolai caught on to what I was doing. I was like, no. Have fun with the lich for a bit. We'll come and get you in a bit.
We'll be back.
Yeah, let me recruit this. I have 2 stone golems now, by the way, Gino.
They've actually managed to they've learned how to decipher magic runes on stone golems and reverse engineer them. So now
nice.
they have 2 stone golems who are who are programmed to guard them at all times.
Yes, and I have it paint them red, and I have Rocky 1 and Rocky 2.
Fun. You know, because you guys have been talking about Castles and Crusades for a while. I follow this YouTuber who is talking about this wargaming game called Trench Crusades, and I kept getting them both mixed up. Like, these guys talk about the same thing, because apparently Trench Crusades, their whole shtick was like their lore is like Christians versus demons, but since they're woke, no one's the bad guy. In fact, they're both
Oh.
bad guys.
Oh
There's
gosh.
no good guy. They're both
Oh,
bad
God.
guys.
What is evil?
Yeah, and when I say demon, I mean like straight hole leading to hell sort of aspect. So they're saying, oh no, it's like all these Christians are just like, you know, as bad as the demons. Bad as the demons invading Earth through their hell mouth.
Guys,
Okay.
there is no good or evil. There's only people and demons. But they're not bad.
That sounds like what? Was it Devil May Cry or whatever? Where
Yeah.
that's popular.
I don't know if I'd go that far on Devil May Cry. You had one demon who decided not to be a bad guy. Most of them are still
If
bastards.
you want to give a better example,
Are
Bayonetta.
you talking about the game, or are you talking about the TV series or whatever
the,
it was?
the game. I
Netflix
refuse
thing?
to watch the TV show. No, screw those guys.
Yeah, the TV show, I believe it's all like, you know, demons are good.
Yeah.
The U.S. military evil because demons are good and they're hurting demons.
Yeah. It's
See?
insane.
This is why I don't watch that crap.
Yeah, King Bob, I know that the Marquis is in, like, members of them are in Voyager.
Yeah.
But, like,
Yeah.
if you want to actually fight, if you wanted, like, a definitive end to the Marquis, is actually in DS9.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was asking if there was crossover, and I was saying
Oh, okay.
kind of in the sense that you kind of have to know the backstory of the Maquis a little bit, but that's about it.
Weren't they like about half the crew in Voyager?
Yeah, because Voyager, the whole point of Voyager was they were chasing down the Maquis in the Badlands, and then they both got sucked into the Delta Quadrant by the Caretaker, and like half their ship blew up or whatever. The Maquis ship completely blew up, and so the Voyager people took the Maquis in. Since they lost half their crew, they made the Maquis the rest of the crew, so they only had like 125 people in there or something like that.
Okay, that was it.
Yeah. I just finished watching the entire series, so I'm pretty well versed in it now.
It's right.
Also, the other day I tried out Expedition 33 for the first time. I was pleasantly surprised, actually. I was kind of going in with decently low expectations, but I actually enjoyed it. I'm not going to say it's the best thing ever, but I still really like it.
I watched the stream. It looked pretty good as a game.
Yeah, it looks like the best thing ever if you like jumping on people's heads.
Don't judge me.
It's been good since what time? When did Mario come out? 1980 what?
Hey, I'm not dissing it. It's quality head jumping. I was witness to it.
Jumping on people's heads?
It was her name was Sophie Stands on Heads, okay?
What?
That was the name I gave her. Sophie Stands on Heads.
Are you creating a character?
No, I'm not. It is JRPG. Like, you have your own pre-created characters. It's like a lot of JRPGs where the actual strategy of the game isn't through like role playing so much as it is like scouring each map for hidden items, like the actual tactics in combat, where it's more of a min-maxing game. But like that's more of kind of like what it's going for. I was pleasantly surprised with the combat system, though. I was not expecting much with the combat system. It's surprisingly fun, like really fun, in fact.
Yeah, turn-based can be pretty great if they put in-depth systems in place and make some decent character combos and things like that.
Yeah, this one is based around like action points where it's like the whole thing is it kind of does the Paper Mario thing where if you time your button presses right whenever you're attacking or defending, uh, you don't deal extra. Well, sometimes you deal extra damage, but regardless, you're gaining AP for it, and that's basically your mana. That's how you're doing like special skills, spells, all that. So the better you play the game, the better you time your moves, the better off you are in combat.
I think the only one I've really played was Yakuza Like a Dragon. Uh, the
JRPG?
yeah, turn-based
Yeah.
JRPG.
Yeah, they went like full on turn based with that game.
Really? I haven't
Yep.
tried Like a Dragon.
Best way I
It's
can
fun.
describe it is lots of fun mini games. Lots of fun mini games. Soap
Huh.
opera level story.
Well, yeah, it's Yakuza.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And when I mean soap
yeah.
opera level story, I won't spoil anything, but there's like there's one plot line. Gino might know which one I'm even referencing or hinting towards.
Well, I think that's actually a very good description of the game. It is definitely a soap opera storyline.
But
So,
it's
seriously, what the frick is going on?
there's if I remember correctly, there's a fucking side quest of a dude in a baby outfit or some shit.
Yes,
Oh, wait.
in a diaper. Yeah, they
Mhm.
wear
Yes.
diapers. Yep,
And he sends you to go collect
milk formula.
Yeah.
Dear Lord.
And then there's you know what my favorite side quest, because the game is in I was playing it in the English. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to listen to a dub on a game or a sub. I mean,
How dare you?
So you get to the one side quest where you're supposed to have that American tourist.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
I
the
don't
funny
speak
part
English.
is so how do I put this? It's supposed to be an American speaking normally, and then supposed to be speaking really broken Japanese, right? And he's supposed to be screaming it. Except since it's in English, they decided just to him speaking normal English and then him speaking like really broken, bad, loud English.
oh, shit. That's funny.
And I'm like, all right.
Well, it may be a stereotype, but yeah, they kind of actually do that over there. So I can't really blame them.
Right.
With
When
that
they speak
said,
English, yeah.
we did hit the 7 o'clock mark. So why don't we go ahead and respect everyone's time? We'll start wrapping this all up. Why don't you tell us where we can find you? We'll start off with Otter down in the corner there.
Well, if you want to find out what the Otter is up to, here in the next few weeks, he's going to be finishing up formatting his own book, kind of finishing up working on the glossary as we speak. Might add a map or two for this second book. Otherwise, other than that, pretty much if you want to find out what I can do, you can check out my first book on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. John A. Douglas just put out a handy little review for the book in question on his YouTube channel. Be sure to check that out. Other than that, you can find me shit posting on Twitter. That's where I usually am. That in the riverbed, where I'm tossing rocks at people.
Oh my god! I found out how I killed an innocent person.
Again?
Tossing rocks at them?
No, so you know the what are they called? Kimono Tong thugs, right? They're non-hostile. I originally murdered the shit out of them when they spawned there.
They're thugs. Stick
Yeah.
them up. Where can people find you, Billy?
I ain't got no one.
He's got nobody. He lives under a rock.
Yep. That's right. Got nothing.
All right, Gino.
If you try to find him, he will lose you, and you won't be able to.
Exactly. I do currently a lot of editing because I have lots of free time. editing Sonic Overdrive's book. I guess it's a book, maybe. Pretty good so far. But if you need me, you can contact me on the Discord, and I will edit your stuff for a modest fee.
Pretty
Well,
modest.
Rob.
I hire him. He's like $4 a thousand words. It's pretty decent.
Yep.
All right, Frederico, where can people find you?
imakecomics.com. That'll forward you to Retell Comic. That's my current project that I've been tackling for the past year or so. And almost done now. Almost 20 pages inked. So like 4 or 5 left. Also, I've got a show on YouTube tomorrow called Proof of Comics. So check that out. And on Wednesday, Comicsgate Commandos. So please
Always
do check
fun.
that out. A lot of fun.
Right? Always super busy. Raven Nevermore.
Hey, you can find me on minds.com as Raven Nevermore. I've not updated that in a while, and I need to, but I've been super busy with work, and then any other extra time I've had, I've been working on a new book.
Excellent. You know, I just remembered because your name's Raven Nevermore. Wasn't Edgar Allan Poe killed in the midst of voter fraud?
Voter fraud.
Yes. One of the earliest forms of voter fraud. I forgot what it was called, but it was essentially, hey, you're going to vote for this guy, and now I'm going to kick your ass until you agree.
Huh.
And I believe there was a gigantic spout of this happening in front of a voting place, and he was found dead, just chilling there across the way, all beat up and like. So it seemed like he may have been
Wow.
Yeah, they may have beat him to death.
I did
Wouldn't
not
that
know
be
that.
more voter intimidation than voter fraud?
I think it was maybe the whole shtick was, we're just gonna beat you up till you vote our way, or we'll beat you up some more afterwards.
Yeah, that sounds like voter intimidation to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tomato, either or.
No, it's always tomato. Only weird people say tomato.
That's not true.
It's
Trust
true.
me.
Now
I'm a
excuse
chicken
me
wing.
while I have myself a tomato.
A tomato. Enjoy me some tomato sauce.
Nice tomatoes.
But with that, thank you all for joining us today. My name is James Esparza, short story writer. Gino is actually my editor. You can check out what he's been editing at worldwithoutendlore.substack.com. You have yourself a wonderful night and join us.
Well,
next
what about
time.
your show tomorrow? Don't you have a show?
Oh, crap, you're right. I do have a show tomorrow with R.H. Snow and the Black Knight at 3 o'clock California time, 5 o'clock Texas time. I prefer saying it that way because I get time zones mixed up. But we're going to have a special guest, and we're going to be discussing essentially being a writer and going through the motions and persevering and just keep on writing. Join us tomorrow. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be starting off streaming Tuesdays, where then you're going to head over to Frederick's channel. But with that said, we are out of here. Thank you for joining us. You're watching this on the replay. Leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and drop a comment. Bye-bye. Arrivederci. And
All right, the show is ours now.
Arrivederci.
He might have thought that he ended the live stream by closing the window.
oh boy.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
right. That's actually exactly what I did.
that-
I hit the wrong button, but oh well. Now I'm doing it for reals this time. I'm hitting the other button.
Wrangler's
Good night.
still
Yeah.
here in
Goodbye.